my name's Sabrina Jones, and I mostly just do art and artsy things like that. I do a lot of drawing and painting, that's what I spend most of my time on. I also do poetry, at least I try to. It doesn't go great, but it's something I'm interested in, and I enjoy writing and just working through words and everything. And then I also am greatly interested in film, but again, that's something that I don't do as often, and I'm trying to get into it more. Just making small little short films that portray into interests like poetry and art. I have two separate notebooks. I have one that's like a larger black notebook that I use specifically for my poetry, and I can write in that multiple times a day or not for weeks. It just really depends on when I want to write poetry. Then I have a smaller white notebook with a matchstick on the cover, and I use that for more often for lists and just motivational things or a planner. So I'd say I use that probably once a day, maybe less, maybe more, just depends on the week and what specifically I'm doing. But that's usually the notebook I go to plan things and figure it out more. I use the black poetry notebook because it's an indie fuel notebook, and that's where my sister used to work, and she got like this nice notebook with a really nice cover, and it has like a bookmark, and the pages are big, and I love it, and it was free, so I like the look of it, and that's why I specifically use that notebook. I think the lines are slightly small for my liking, but for this I think it's great for writing poetry because I can fit multiple poems on a page, because I don't necessarily write super long ones, so it's nice that I can write a full line in the space of the notebook and don't have to cut up my lines so that it's visually how I want the poem to look as well. So I think the size of the notebook really works. With my poetry notebook, I use two colors. I use black and I use red. I always use red for the titles because I think that just makes it stand out more. And usually when I write my poetry, I add the titles after I write the actual poem, and then I just use a standard black pen for the actual poem. And I write in all caps for poetry. I just think it makes it look cleaner and it's easier to read because I usually write in cursive with my normal handwriting, and then everything just smears together and it looks absolutely terrible. So I do uppercase capital letters for my poetry notebook so everything looks more concise. I sometimes also use my poetry notebook for just doodles. If I hate a poem, I sometimes will scratch it out and then draw something over it or something underneath it to distract myself from the fact that I hate the poem that I just wrote. Or if I don't have access to paper and I just want to draw something, I'll usually just use a lot of different colors and draw something so there's certain distractions in the notebook as I write. The format of my notebook has to be concise. I don't usually stray away from it. I don't like it to be in different ways. I think it should be clear in the exact format through all of my poems. Otherwise, I don't really connect with the poem as much, and I think it's not right, and I have to scrap it and move on or redo it. So I like to keep it in the same format. I use my matchstick notebook primarily for lists, just ideas I have, things for films, things for poems. It's what I usually carry with me. As it's smaller, I can fit it in my bag. I use the notebook for maybe a daily planner, what I want to accomplish for the day. I use it if I see something and I want to remember it, I'll write it down. That's usually what the matchstick notebook is for, something convenient that I can write my ideas in and kind of keep it in a clear, concise place. With this notebook, my format is a little bit more lenient because sometimes I just write and it's easier and it's faster if I don't use capital letters, because that can take a while just writing out everything in capitals. So this one is more lenient. I'll just write down. I do usually only use pen for this notebook though, as it doesn't like smear the graphite, doesn't get messed up, and it looks more appealing to me if it's in pen. But yeah, this style is more freeform and just kind of whatever happens kind of goes down on the page. With my matchstick notebook, I use black, red, and a light blue pen. And I use red for the titles like I do in my poetry notebook. I use black for the main information like I do in my poetry notebook. But I use light blue for like subtitles. If there's a smaller title that I need to section everything off, I'll use a light blue to keep everything organized. I've used drawing as my primary creative focus probably since 5th grade or so, and I've developed my style as I've gone. A lot of it is just things I make for other people, as that motivates me to create. I use a lot of watercolors. I've gotten into that more. I use pastels. My primary focus, usually, if it's just me drawing to create something, I will do like a sketchy style, just like with a pencil, go in, draw something. I primarily focus on people. That's just my style. It's what I lean towards when I draw. I recently started doing oils, and I had tons of fun with that. It's very smooth and interesting. So I just am expanding my mediums and trying to make different things and kind of branch into all aspects of the art community. My name is Sabrina Jones, and you can check out my art on Instagram at svj.art, or I sell my stuff on Redbubble as well, and the link will be floating around somewhere.